The house was suffocating. It smelled of burnt coffee and betrayal. My mother, Vancy, sat on the couch, her tail wrapped tightly around herself, weeping into a tissue. She looked small, frail. For 20 years I had looked at her and seen safety. Now, looking at her shivering form, all I saw was the reason Martin was going to die. "Stop crying," I said. My voice sounded strange to my own ears, low, steady, devoid of the trilling fear that usually colored our speech. Vancy looked up, her eyes wet and wide. "Thiva, please, I did it for us. You saw him. He was huge. He has binocular eyes. He eats flesh. It was only a matter of time before he helped me with my astrophysics homework." I cut in, stepping closer. "Before he fixed the leak in the kitchen you've been complaining about for a cycle. Before he sat across the room, terrified to move too fast in case he scared us." "It's a trick," she wailed. "Predators are deceitful. They lure you in." "He pushed me out of the way of the fire," I snarled. The anger in my chest was a hot, dense coal. "He surrendered to save you." I turned my back on her and grabbed my holopad and bag. I didn't know what I was doing, only that I couldn't stay here. I couldn't breathe the same air as her. "Where are you going?" Vancy shrieked, standing up. "Thiva, you can't go out there. The predator might have a pack. It's dangerous." "The only dangerous thing in this house is your ignorance," I spat. I opened the door. "Don't follow me. If you call the exterminators again, tell them your daughter has predator disease, because I'd rather be diagnosed with that than be whatever you are." I slammed the door, severing the life I knew. I ran. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs felt like jelly, heading toward the district station where they had taken him. The twilight sky mocked me with its unchanging orange hue. Time was a flat circle of panic. When I arrived, the scene was chaotic. I saw a human, the older male, Sinclair, standing by a luxury ground car, screaming at a Venlil officer who looked ready to faint. I sprinted over, ignoring the wary looks from passers-by. "Mr. Sinclair." The human turned. His face was red with fury, but his eyes softened slightly when he saw me. "Thiva, you shouldn't be here." "Where is he?" I demanded, breathless. "Where is Martin?" Sinclair slammed his hand onto the roof of his car. "They're stonewalling me. They claim he's being processed, but I just lost his biosignal from the bracelet the UN issued. They took it off him." My blood ran cold. Why would they take it off? "To move him," Sinclair said, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. "Off the record." "The incinerator," I whispered, the horror of the local rumor mill becoming reality. "There's an old waste facility out in the Barrens. The exterminators use it for disposing of tainted carcasses." Sinclair's face went pale, then hardened into granite. "Get in the car." "What?" I said. "Get in. You know the geography. I know how to drive fast." He opened the door. I didn't hesitate. I jumped into the passenger seat of the human vehicle. It smelled of old paper and peppermint. As Sinclair gunned the engine, the tires screeching against the pavement, I realized I had just crossed a line I could never uncross. We sped out of the city limits, watching the tracker on Sinclair's dashboard. I managed to slip a secondary bug into his pocket when I interviewed him. Sinclair muttered, his hands white-knuckled on the wheel. "It's faint, but it's moving, fast, toward the Barrens." We were chasing a ghost, and if we didn't catch it, I knew my heart would stop beating the moment Martin's did. "Faster," I said, my claws digging into the leather seat. Sinclair nodded. "Hang on." Ahead of us the road curved sharply around a cliffside. We saw taillights, a heavy armored van. "That's them," I breathed. Sinclair floored it, but as we closed the distance, a shadow detached itself from the rocky overhang above the road. A massive, quadrupedal shape, a shadestalker, one of the native predators the exterminators were supposed to protect us from. It didn't go for the van, it went for our tires.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.